Good evening to all the attending participants, and I am thankful to the organizing committee of IMA for organizing such a wonderful academic events, and I am also privileged to present my lecture from the dais of my parent institute and in front of stalwarts of cardiology Professor Dr. Ramesh Thakur and Dr. Vinay Krishna sir. If I came to my talk, then my talk is not very much complicated. I will not say it simple as Dr. Thakur had already explained. It is not simple. Preventive cardiology is not a simple thing, but from theoretical point of view, it is not so complicated. As I am 90% confident that all the attendees who are present in this auditorium are well aware how to keep their heart healthy, how to keep themselves healthy, and how to apply preventive cardiology measures in their day-to-day routine or lifestyle practices. But in the modern era, I would like to draw your attention on this tiny organ, approximately 450 grams, and of the size of a closed fist only, which is beating continuously for our existence on this planet. And you can see on right upper corner of my slide, even it is beating in this presentation also. And you may be amazed that our heart in our lifetime beats approximately on an average more than 2.5 million times. So it's our moral responsibility, it's our moral duty to keep it healthy, to keep ourselves healthy, to keep our heart healthy. So this is preventive cardiology, and we have to practice it in our day-to-day life. And why it is need of our in such hectic schedule or modern life, I will like to explain it or narrate it by a simple story which just happened yesterday evening. Yesterday evening, approximately around 6 to 7 p.m. when we are just closing our cath lab, we are finishing our cath cases and just going to change our cath dresses. There was a call from our senior resident from emergency, sir, just wait. There is a patient who had acute onset chest pain, acute ST segment elevation or acute heart attack in a severe chest pain with a window period of 2 hours. We are just going to shift it in cath lab for primary angioplasty. Our team again geared up, and it is not a thing of surprise for all of us as we people are doing approximately 15 to 20 angioplasties in a day, and out of which 5 to 8 primary angioplasty. And when the patient shifted to the cath lab, then the thing of surprise came into our faces. And the surprise was that the age of the patient. You can see, he is only 24-year-old male presented with acute inferior MI, crying with deep chest pain. And he is the only son of his family. His parents are crying outside the cath lab, and he is crying inside the cath lab. Though the quality of pain are different, parents are crying emotionally and patient is crying because of pain of acute heart attack. So this is the story. And as usual, we took the patient for angiography. The right coronary system was 100% up to date, and as our usual practice, we passed the guide wire, implant the stent, flow was restored, there was PV3 flow, successful angioplasty was done, patient pain got relieved, family was happy, doctor was happy, and ultimately patient was also happy. And we discharged the patient today afternoon. So this is the story why preventive cardiology is a need of an hour. And we are only aware with few such deaths or few such events in young patients. And few famous personalities, as my previous speakers had already told, their name we might be aware of, but majority's name are unhidden. We are not aware with those because South Asians such as Indians have higher rates of MI at younger ages compared with the Western counterparts, and poor cardiovascular health and low level of physical activity and physical fitness are more prevalent in India, that is responsible for it. And as per a report of WHO, out of total cardiovascular death in the world, more than 80% are in Southeast Asian regions. But the good thing is that prevention works, and over 50% of the reduction seen in these cardiovascular death if we act on the risk factors, and rest 40% is covered by the improved treatment methods. So cardiovascular prevention or preventive cardiology is needed. If we talk about that worldwide statistics, then over 12% of all the deaths worldwide are in result of ischemic heart diseases, and about 10% disability adjusted life years are a result of cardiovascular diseases. And if we talk about United Nations report, then in 2010, 17.3 million deaths are due to cardiovascular disease, while in 2030 it was expected to be 23.6 million deaths each year, a great hike in the number. And the interesting fact is that, the myth is that we people suppose that we are young and we are safe of chronic kidney disease and chronic inflammatory conditions which are often ignored by us, like psoriasis, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, HIV or AIDS. These all aggravate the risk factors or catalyst the risk factors for the development of cardiac disease. Other important ones are history of premature menopause, high risk ethnicity like Southeast Asian region, as I had already discussed, persistent or elevated primary hypertriglyceridemia, elevated high sensitivity C-active protein, elevated lipoprotein little a, elevated ApoB, and reduced or decline in ankle brachial index as told by my previous speakers. So now come one by one on different risk factors and how we prevent so that cardiovascular disease prevention can be done. The first and most important that is responsible for MI in young patients is smoking, and we should act actively in the direction of smoking cessation. And if you think you are smoking the cigarettes, you are mistaken. It is the other way around. And regarding smoking, as per the guidelines, all smoking is a strong and independent risk factor for cardiovascular disease and has to be avoided. And young people have to be encouraged not to take up smoking. And there are 5 ways for a smoking cessation program, that is ask, advise, assist the patient in the smoking cessation program and arrange a schedule for follow-up. So the risk of heart attack starts decreasing. So it is beneficial to stop smoking now. And the risk of heart attack starts decreasing within 24 hours of quitting the smoking, and within 1 year of quitting, CSD risk decreases significantly, and within 2 years it reaches the level of a non-smoker. So it is very important to stop smoking now. The second one is diet and nutrition, which is also very important and everybody is well aware with it. A diet emphasizing intake of vegetable, fruit, legumes, nuts, whole grains and fish is recommended, and replacement of saturated fat should be done with monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fatty acids, and a diet containing reduced amount of cholesterol and sodium are beneficial, and trans fats should be avoided, and processed meat, refined carbohydrate and sweetened beverages should also be avoided. So it is always better to look before you eat. Eat a variety of fruits and vegetables every day. Eat colored vegetables and fruit. Eat a variety of grain products. Choose non-fat or low-fat products. Use less fat meats like chicken, fish and lean cuts, and switch to a fat-free milk like toned or skimmed milk. And there is a lot of confusion which cooking oil should be used. So according to research, monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fatty acids oil like sunflower oil, while in diabetes patient between age 40 to 75, moderate intensity statin therapy should be started. While in age 40 to 75 and LDL more than 70 but less than 90, then we have to calculate the ASCVD risk score, and if it is more than 20, then statin therapy should be started, or if it is more than 7.5 and less than 20, then also statin therapy should be started in these patients for primary prevention purposes or to prevent cardiovascular disease. And adults should have their blood pressure checked regularly, as there are no symptoms to tell if you have high blood pressure. In the optimal levels as per Sprint trial or JNC 7 criteria, it should be less than 120 by 80 mm of mercury. And if it is not, then modify your lifestyle and adhere to the prescribed medications. And this is the chart for prevention or management of hypertension. I think every physician is well aware with this. So if you or someone in your family already diagnosed with the heart disease, then don't get disheartened. Science has made significant progress, and just monitor risk factors much more aggressively. Eat healthy, walk regularly, watch your weight, quit smoking immediately, keep your weight under control, and in addition to improving your heart health, these measures are sure to enhance your appearance and you will definitely look smart, and adhere to your medicines also. And the question arises now is, where should CVD prevention program be offered? So there are clear-cut guidelines that actions to prevent cardiovascular disease should be incorporated into everyone's daily life. starting in early childhood and continuing throughout adulthood and senescence. And all patients with CVD must be discharged from hospital with clear guideline-oriented treatment recommendation to minimize the adverse events. So the key messages or take-home messages are risk factor screening, including the lipid profile, may be considered in adult men more than equal to 40 years and in women more than 50 years of age or post-menopausal. The physician in general practice is the key person to initiate, coordinate and provide long-term follow-up for CVD prevention. This is a very important line at this physician forum or physician podium. The practicing cardiologist should be the advisor in cases where there is uncertainty over the use of preventive medications or when usual preventive options are difficult to apply. And patients with cardiac disease may participate in self-help programs to increase or maintain awareness of the need for risk factor management. And non-governmental organizations are important partners to healthcare workers in promoting preventing cardiology. So I will like to end my presentation with the proverb, prevention is better than cure, and misfortunes always come in by a door that has been left open for them. So it is our moral responsibility or it's our moral duty to close all the doors in the form of preventive.